Hello, my peeps, and welcome back to Passionate People and Preposterous Peeps. I am still your host, Ike, and before I get just too more wiggly in my chair, I'd like to just take a moment and say thanks for being here and giving this pod a listen. It means a lot that you chose to use your precious time and give me and my guest your ears. That's a present that, it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you. Now, hopefully I've buttered you up so that after this episode, maybe a subscriber, share this with a friend. That'd be freaking rad. Um, so this is episode, let me check y'all. This is episode 12 of season 3. Hope you're enjoying it. If you're not, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at LikeIkes or email me at passionandpeevespodcast@gmail.com. Or if you're enjoying it, feel free to hit me up there. You know what? Hit me up there regardless. I'd love to hear from you. I am in a very good space mentally. Won a little magic shindig yesterday. Nothing of major report. It was just fun hanging out with friends and kicking ass. Um, Also had a great session with my therapist. I am really enjoying my new therapist, and I'm really enjoying getting back into therapy. Not only am I like kind of excising some of the poison, I'm learning a lot, and I think even growing some. So it's really fantastic. Um, had a couple hard days the other day that with just like I'll say identity crisis, but definitely left me in a state, shall we say. Talked with my therapist about it, and I think part of the thing that's helping with the therapist, and it's like this old absurdism adage of flattery will get you everywhere, and I one of the things that my therapist does that I really enjoy is he gives me compliments. It sounds stupid, but for somebody who I think he's probably correctly cued in on, I don't feel like I'm all that good at stuff. I don't think like I'm that great. I feel like I'm okay. And to have somebody kind of affirm, what is reality and know that it's coming from a professional place so I can trust it as opposed to somebody that stands to gain something, it means a lot. So, therapy, get on it. It's great. Have somebody be like, "You're doing awesome." Be like, "Okay, cool, finally." Um, in different news, if you know anybody or you are someone who is a aspiring or actual just podcast publicist or producer, I'm doing a lot right now, got a lot going on in my life, and I could really use somebody to help further the brand. So if you know somebody in that space, again, send them over to Twitter at LikeIkes or have them email me at passionandpeacespodcast@gmail.com. Very much looking to, kind of further this brand and my other ones, but somewhere between the time and know-how, that's not something I want to do or feel comfortable doing. Like it would be like a worthy use of my time. So I would love to have somebody come in on this and help me and Richard share this awesomeness with the rest of the world that you clearly enjoy as you're listening to this episode and me just blather on. Also, random point of fact, putting this up early. You're welcome, Richard. You can leave that or cut that. So for those of you that don't know, my poor editor has to constantly deal with me messaging and be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm doing something late again." He's like, "It's okay, buddy." But I'm actually getting this one up on time, early even maybe. Hey, taste it. Okay, sorry. Well, before I go feeling too good about myself, so I gotta confess, I might have some addictions. The other day, I spent $160 on coffee, not a cup, but like 8 bags of coffee that from a kind of high end distributor. I'm giving them try out, trying to further my coffee tastes. I've been really loving, um, oh, Piffle. What's the name of it? Been really loving this one coffee that I hope to figure out what it is. I know it's this place in crud. Let me see if I can find it really fast. This is great radio or podcasting or whatever. Um, but it's really good coffee. I get it from down in San Diego way. I think it's technically just right above it, but it's really delicious. But I'm trying to like expand my coffee a little bit, and I cannot find this to save my crap. Ah, screw it. I don't remember where it is, but I've got it saved somewhere. It's this delicious coffee that I love, but I don't want to burn myself out on it. So I'm trying different kinds of coffee to see if I can kind of find one that I can ping pong back and forth in between and not burn myself out. Because the last thing I'd want to do is not enjoy my morning cup of coffee that, starts my day that I really enjoy. Also, I believe I have, if my math is correct, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 times 5 is 60. I now am the proud owner of 61 hats, because that's a totally reasonable number. I feel like a front row Baptist right now with how many hats I got. But also recently bought this bunch of plastic holders. I might take a picture and put it up on my Instagram, which I will when I feel like it's up and ready to go. I will link and post on Twitter and let you guys know probably next week if I do that. But I got these hat holders from Amazon. That was about $100 for 12 of them, but they're see-through, they're nice, they're magnetic. And it was really funny. One of my students at the school was like, "Wow, that's a lot. That's just to hold your hats." I was like, "Well, we got like at least five hats that I've spent more than that on just by themselves. So I think this is an acceptable number to like display them and have them easily accessed without getting dirty." So, but in setting them up, sadly, I really messed up my right thumb, and it's very slowly gaining feeling back. Because had these like plastic widgets that I was like snapping in, and a couple of them I decided not to give up, and they decided not to give in. So it was a bad time. But what isn't a bad time is this episode. I'm interviewing a longtime friend, THEO Jung, who we haven't gotten to talk in a while, even though we both do play Magic, because he is all the way in now Chicago, was in Madison, Wisconsin, and I'm down in Los Angeles. We both kind of knew each other and were periphery friends of a sort in the Bay Area. Like we were good friends with like Cyrus Corman Gill, episode or season 1 guest, and that crowd. And so we knew each other. We would occasionally hang out and chat, but as time drifted, we just kind of got farther away. So it was really nice to reconnect with this friend and just chat. And he has the best peeve. I'm not going to spoil it here. You got to listen to the end, but it is the epitome, I think, of what makes a preposterous even peeve. So please do enjoy episode 12 of season 3 with THEO Jung. All right, folks, with me today, we have the Pinesburger Challenge winner, a man who has won a $400 piece of cardboard by flipping a coin, and thrice lifetime totaler of golf carts. It's THEO Jung!
Hello, how's it going?
Better now that you're here. But to make it even more awesome, myself and the audience would like to know, if you were to ever take part in a WWF-styled event, what would you want your walkout song to be?
Ooh, my walkout song? I think it would be I've Seen Footage by the Death Grips. Love that song.
That is an awesome choice.
Yeah, it's like my hype-up song when I go to the gym. So
I feel like every track by the Death Grips is technically a hype-up song. I don't think the opposite exists.
Yeah, they're like loud and angsty. Love it.
What's the best or most memorable piece of advice you've ever received?
Best or best? So, there's a quote that stuck with me. I think it's from the book Atomic Habits, is that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So, I guess to elaborate, what that means is that no matter how lofty your goals are and how much you want to achieve them, you are not going to unless you do like very practical, like step-by-step, little things that orient you toward that goal and make it easy for you to do those day-to-day things.
Yeah. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm actually currently reading that book, and it is a solid recommend. So glad to hear there's another great man out in the world also enjoying that one.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, like for instance, one thing I guess I've been doing for the last few years is going to the gym, and uh, I do things that make it pretty easy for me to go. Like I have a gym membership that's like a 5 minute walk away. I have whenever I set out like a pile of workout clothes like on my nightstand before I go to bed the next day. So I go in the morning. It's pretty easy for me to just like throw those on and go. So yeah, like doing little things like that to
Yeah.
reinforce good habits.
Facilitating ease of access, which for me as somebody who always thought, I was like, man, I'm such a piece of shit. I always do. I'm like a trickle of water. I always take the path of least resistance. One of the early chapters is like, yeah, humans beings always take the path of least resistance. It's the easiest thing. It's human nature. It's evolution. It's, what we do because it's easiest. Like, why would you do something that's hard? It's so like
Yeah,
that's not in human nature. Some people are going to, but like by and large, it's just a human thing. And upon reading that, I was like, oh my god, this person knows me. And I just like immediately I've been enjoying reading this book.
yeah,
Cannot
for
recommend it
sure.
enough.
Like going outside and spending money to expend energy is probably just like the most anti-human nature thing you can do, and it's probably why the gym is probably so hard for most people to go on a regular basis.
Can you imagine like a 1950s like selling style to get you to go to the gym? Have I got a thing for you? Now, you see, you're sitting at home right now and enjoying life. But what if I told you you can give me money and leave your recliner to go run until you feel like you're about to die? I'm not
Yeah,
interested. Oh, wait, there's more. It's like, what the fuck? Like, who's going to this?
yeah, it's pretty absurd when you think about it. So,
Well, while we're on the path to self betterment, what decision in life are you the most proud of making?
hmm. I think one pivotal decision for me was when I was choosing where to go to college. I could have gone to school in my hometown or gone across the state to attend Berkeley.
Mm,
So I grew up in Ithaca, New York, and it's home to two pretty great universities like Ithaca College and Cornell. And at the end of the whole admissions process, I was deciding between going to Berkeley or going to Cornell. Two great options, but I think the decision to like um, leave my hometown and explore something new just opened a lot of doors for me, and my life would just look completely different if I hadn't. So,
yeah. I did the same thing, ish. I had the opportunity to go to, when I was living in Sonoma County, I had the opportunity to go to San Francisco University where I knew everybody and would have been like around all of you and every other Magic playing person I know in the Bay Area, or I could go all the way down to Monterey and kind of be within shouting distance. So if I needed to hang with friends, if I wanted to go play like a big Magic event, I could, but I wouldn't be tempted by like the little hangouts and stuff like that to take me away from school, which I was already, if I'm being honest, kind of pretty easily being pulled away from.
yeah, for
I was doing
sure.
fine in class, but wasn't crushing it, and thankfully made the decision, went down, got good grades, and really got to have a college experience as opposed to like go through college while fucking around.
Yeah, for sure.
What
Like,
myth? Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, like the ability to like detach yourself from what's like comfortable or what's
Yeah,
like easy has been like a big help in my life, I think.
yeah, and using it, it sounds like both of us wisely somehow used it to our advantage of setting a difficulty so that we could use it in like some way. Like by me setting this difficulty, I was able to like focus on my studies because it kind of played around my own proclivities. For you, getting to move so that way you get to experience something new and kind of open up your horizons, even though it's difficult. Like kind of playing around again like, your own proclivities, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What myth is your favorite to dispel?
Hmm. Uh, I guess one myth that I like, I guess the hot hand fallacy.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so you know when people are out gambling, let's say you're at a blackjack table, you win like four hands in a row, you're having a hot streak.
Yeah.
but each one of those hands is an independent event, not really a part of a streak. So
Yeah.
yeah, uh,
That my favorite is the inverse of that, especially so I think you know, but some people out there don't. Is I dealt poker and blackjack for a better part of 15 years, from when I was 19 to when I was in my early 30s, actually up until like
I
a
did
year ago.
not know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. No, I dropped out of college and went and dealt for a decade before coming back to college in my late 20s. And the amount of times so I've heard that, I've seen it work, I've seen it not work. It is like basically 50-50 whether, that in one instance is going to work, assuming, it's a coin flip or something like that. And everybody focuses on the time it works and nobody remembers the time it doesn't, unless they go broke, and then that's all they talk about. But the one that's hilarious to me is the inverse, when I would be dealing to somebody and they're like, they'd lose like 5 hands in a row and they're like, they bet like even more and be like, there's no way you can win 6. And it was like,
Exactly,
I
they're
bet you
due.
I fucking can. And I
Yeah.
usually did.
No, I joke about that a lot. It's like, but when people believe it seriously,
What's your favorite book, comic, cartoon that you think would either be the best or worst choice for a big screen adaptation?
let's see. Um, I'm gonna have to think about this one a little. I have a lot of, I consume a lot of media, so I have a lot of books and movies.
I can hear you looking around your room for books.
Yeah. One of my favorite books is Disgrace by um, J.M. Cutsey. It's about a literature professor in South Africa, and then a bunch of stuff happens.
Like the no spoiling.
Yeah, but I think it could be a pretty compelling movie. I really think it would. I don't know if there's already an adaptation for it, but I think Disgrace would make an excellent movie.
Disgrace coming next fall. What's the silliest thing you believed as a child that you now look back on and just giggle at your foolishness of youth?
Mm. I don't know if this is the silliest thing I believed, but I would really try my hardest to avoid cracks on the sidewalk. Like I would only step on the cushy like
Yeah.
sections of brick. I would try and like
And then look back at your mother
avoid the
and be like,
lines.
"You're
And I don't know
welcome."
why. I didn't really have any superstition behind it. Like young me didn't really like stepping on the lines for some reason. And
That's awesome.
I can't tell you why.
I was really hoping that you did that, and then you just occasionally look back at your mom and just give her a thumbs up, be like, "You're welcome." Well, kind of returning to Atomic Habits, what would you say is your biggest everyday temptation?
Oh, it's probably just eating a lot of junk food. And again, I try not to like surround myself with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, reduce the
Uh,
ease of access.
yeah.
But let's say, God forbid, you find yourself in a 7-Eleven.
Mm.
What's the number one grab?
Oh, the sour gummy worms for sure. Yeah, love those things. Also, like the hot Cheetos. Love me some hot Cheetos. It's like a favorite road trip snack of mine. Just some Diet Coke and some hot Cheetos.
You're a Diet Coker.
I'm a Diet Coker.
I
Yeah.
used to think growing up that was only because the only person I knew that drank Diet Coke was my father, and I thought it was like an old man watching a cell sort of thing. And then as time goes on, it's so interesting to find so many people my age or even younger being like, "I just mess with Diet Coke." I'm like, "Really?" And like, I just love it. It's just
Yeah.
like wrinkles
And
in my
what I
brain.
find is that like people who drink Diet Coke, that's the only soda they really
Yeah.
drink. Like I don't drink any other soda than Diet Coke. I don't know,
my
something
brand.
about the artificial mix of flavors really does it for me, although it's probably killing me on the inside. I drink
Well,
like one a day.
If it makes you feel any better, normal Coke would be doing the same thing.
Yeah,
They're
I think
both
so
just-
too, and it would be making me fatter, so
Exactly. You're gonna look good as you die.
yeah.
Well, speaking of ingestibles, what's your favorite meal to make just for yourself, assuming cost and time are not relevant factors?
Mm, I gotta say, some sort of curry. I've been really into making those.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've made chicken tikka masala for myself, like Thai green curry, Japanese
Oh, we're
curry.
we're going all over the world with this one. I love it.
Yeah, and they're pretty easy to make. Like a lot of the seasonings come in like pre-packaged, like cubes full of like spices and everything that you need to make it. And it keeps well in the fridge too.
Yeah,
Just yeah,
it's a banger.
love
Highly
me a good
recommend.
curry.
All right, while we're still in the kitchen, fuck, marry, kill, fork, knife, and spoon.
Kill the knife. The knife can get out of here. Yeah. And I'd say I'd marry the spoon and like fuck the
Wow.
fork. Yeah, cause like everything a fork can do, a spoon can do, right? Like anything
Yeah,
you can eat with a fork, you can probably eat with a spoon.
yeah.
And like, but not everything you can eat with a spoon, you can eat with a fork.
This is true.
So the spoon would have to be my ride or die.
Where do you stand on the spork?
Uh,
Is it the best of both worlds or the worst?
I think it's like a medium of both worlds. I don't think a spork is like better at like that much better than a spoon, right? Because
Yeah,
like the little like pointy ends aren't really like good at being a fork,
yeah.
you know.
What's your last or most memorable dream you've had?
Um, I don't really remember very many of my dreams. They're usually just like a mishmash of like different places and um, people in my life. I think there was
People.
one like like a year or two ago where I went like sailing on like Lake Michigan with my old English professor, which was yeah strange but
And he pulled
memorable.
out a dart gun and was like, "Where does the semicolon go?" You're like, "No."
I can guarantee you, if he asked any question from that class, I would probably not remember a shot.
Great teacher, forgettable class.
Yeah.
What's your favorite non-musical sound?
Probably the anything sizzling in a pan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that
You hear it,
that butter and milk.
you put some
That butter and
garlic
milk.
on
Yeah.
a hot pan with some olive oil, the smell, the sound. It's great.
What's your proudest accomplishment that the fewest people know of?
Uh, Probably the fact that I threw up in two separate Jack in the Boxes. I think that's
So
something that few people can ever say.
was that during the same night or?
No, that was two different nights. Somehow, when I had to puke, I ended up in two Jack in the Boxes. One
So
of
you've
them.
never have you ever puked other than those two times while out and about? Like, are you a frequent vomiteer
No,
or?
I'm not a frequent vomiteer. I'm a pretty rare vomiteer, actually.
Okay, so
I
they
usually tend
were
to hold my
honored,
liquor pretty well, but
nay privileged.
uh, one of them was during like a bottomless brunch. So I was like crouched over a Jack in the Box bathroom at like 2:30 p.m. on a Sunday, just puking my guts out.
That's great. You go eat somewhere else, and then you go to Jack in the Box to vomit,
Yeah,
where
because
the puke belongs.
I was in an Uber and the Uber had to stop somewhere and it was coincidentally a Jack in the Box. That was like the nearest spot where I could go to the bathroom and puke. So
Uh, what's your favorite G-rated curse word?
a G-rated curse word, like okay.
Gosh darn it, or mother trucker. One you'd say around your gram for perhaps.
I think just darn.
Darn.
Yeah, it just
Give
sounds
it the
funny,
good old
right?
darn.
Like darn.
Yeah.
It also
Darn is
sounds
such
like
a
not very
banger.
like threatening and it sounds kind
Yeah.
of like dorky. It's like darn,
Darn.
darn.
My favorite that I'm waiting for somebody to answer it. I think I'm gonna need to interview someone's grandpa, but when there's like, oh, Like it's not even like technically a word. It's like an onomatopoeia.
Something like a ape would say, it's like
Yeah.
do.
Oh.
Yeah. The dough is like, yeah, that's very primal.
Yeah. Primal in this aw shuck sort of way. Do you have a favorite industry secret or term that was only used in your line of work?
Oh yeah, I worked for a medical tech company that will remain unnamed, and one of the ways we would refer to like our customers was custies, and I kind of like that. Yeah,
Man, these custies.
yeah,
These are some crusty custies, I tell you.
crusty custies. I'm gonna have to bring that one back.
Hell yeah. Custies is dope. I wish I worked in retail so I could have custies. I just have students. Ugh. Ugh. All right, before we throw it to break, if you could have listeners of this podcast or one song of your choosing, which would it be?
Listen to one song of my choosing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it'd be "Sleeping Lessons" by the Shins. They're one of my favorite bands, and this is probably my favorite song of theirs. Would
It
highly
is a
recommend
banger,
it. Yeah.
to be sure. And with that, we're going to throw it to our first break. Feel free to stick around and enjoy this totally real commercial, or take a minute to enjoy Sleeping Lessons by the Shins. Or if you really wanted to hear a song from a previous episode, check out the playlist on Spotify. Passionate People and Preposterous Peeve Podcast, Song Rex. It's a long title, I know. Don't worry, there's a link in the description. Either way, see you in a bit. Do you ever find yourself sitting around with an emptiness inside your soul or larger than preferred vacuous space? Would you like to change that? I thought so. Now introducing Stuff. For when you have nothing to do but important things. Stuff. For when you're lacking personality and intrigue. Stuff. When the world has taken a pickaxe-sized chunk out of your heart. Stuff. And if Stuff no longer fulfills these needs, please don't hesitate to look into our life-enhancing product, Addiction. Welcome back, everybody. So, Theo, what's your passion, my guy?
Yeah, I would say tennis. I've been playing the sport ever since I was in fifth grade and played it all throughout high school. Um, Play it pretty casually now, but I still keep up with like professional tennis and love to get out on the court whenever I can.
You started in fifth grade?
Yeah, I think fifth or fourth was when I had my
Is
first tennis
that
lesson.
is that young or is that late? Or is that like right on time for like learning tennis?
Well, it depends on what your goals with tennis are. If your goal is to be a serious like college player or like a aspiring like professional player even, you would start much younger. You would like have a racket stapled to your hand at the age of 4, you know.
Hold still.
Yeah, because tennis is like a bit of a touch sport. Like the earlier you can get a feel for the racket and like the movements, the better.
Touch sport. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's a sport that requires a lot of like fine mechanics.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this would be like tennis, maybe golf, probably basketball.
Yeah, stuff like that. And I guess ice hockey is pretty similar in that you have to start pretty young because you
Oh
need
yeah.
to know how to skate
Yeah.
and
Basically
like hold the
anything where there's
stick.
like finesse.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of like finesse shots in tennis and like getting form down early is pretty important.
When
But
did
yeah,
so why did you start, I guess, so late, or why did you start when you did as opposed to earlier or later?
well, the tennis lesson was based on my parents' whims more than anything else. It's like, oh, you should try tennis, and I'm like, all right, I'll try tennis, and I came to really love it. So
That's awesome.
good job, mom.
You did good, fam. Were there like earlier sports that this was like, sport number five? Like maybe he'll like this one, or was this like one of your earlier sports?
It wasn't one of the earliest sports I've tried, but it's the only sport I really stuck with. I I used to play like soccer when I was very young in like first, second grade, and I would be the kid that like sits out by the edge of the field blowing the dandelions. Like I just was not interested in soccer at all.
You're like running. I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah, tennis is a lot of running too, but
Yeah.
I
Like you
also
throw the
really
stick.
like individual competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not much of a team player, huh? Did you
Yeah.
do you ever play doubles, or you prefer to just play one on one?
I played some doubles, like didn't have much of a choice because in high school tennis teams some amount of players play singles and others play doubles, so
There's not much crossover there. You're either a single or a doubles player, or is there both?
oh, there's both. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually the skills are transferable enough that if you're very good at singles, you'll be very good at doubles. So,
So you start off fifth grade. You pretty quickly fall in love with it. Did you have any like early on? Did you have any aspirations?
hmm. I guess I never aspired to be a professional or college player because my it was pretty drilled into my head that I would like go to college and like get a real job or whatever.
Yeah.
I like one of the things about growing up in an Asian family, you know. So yeah, that academic career path was like pushed to me at a very early age that
Mm.
I didn't consider very many other options when I was that young.
All right. So you were just doing it for the love of the game the whole time.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. What is there? Like a handicap, or I guess there's rating, right, for tennis.
yeah, it's like on a 1 through 7 scale, with like one
Such
being
a peculiar number.
yeah, it's strange. With one being like true beginner and 7 being world class pro, and it's like
Can you
and,
imagine running
and the
into a
scale
tennis
goes
player at
like
a bar? Like I'm a
goes like
seven.
not
Like,
yeah, it's like not like solid numbers 1 through 7, but it's like 1.5, 3.5. But like it's like separated by like scales of 0.5, which is the most ridiculous thing. But
okay, so there's
yeah,
it's effectively through 14.
yeah.
Wait, can you be a point 0.5 player, or do you have to be? Is one literal at bottom?
I think 1 might be the literal bottom.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's a 13.5 scale. That's awesome. There's guys walking around feeling hot shit, being like, "Hey, I'm a 6.5."
6.5. I mean 6.5 is like
No, it's like
yeah.
that's
It's like a step below world class player. That's like a top
yeah.
college player.
But just like hearing that in the abstract, like looking at a guy just talking up a girl at some bar, like, "Hey, I'm a 6.5." It's like, what are you doing? I guess you're being very fair with yourself. Like, what are
Yeah,
you
yeah,
talking about? That's so awesome. So where, at your best, how would you rate yourself?
like a 4.0, 4.5, which
Damn.
is like
All right.
very solid, like high school player.
And
Maybe a
that's
bit, maybe more towards the 4.0 end of the scale.
okay. And this was in high school, I'm presuming, or
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Did
when I
you?
played the most on a team.
Okay. How did you rate on the team? Do you feel like you were the best player on the team, or
Not really. I was somewhere like in the middle out of like 25 people.
no?
Um, I guess better as I got older and more like seniors graduated. Like I guess like among the top like 12 or so players, like the upper half. But yeah,
Did that
I wasn't exceptional. I just like playing tennis. So
game was sick, bruh.
yeah.
Did that ever like get you down or inspire you to do better, like being like putting yourself in the kind of like middle of the pack, or were you just like, I don't care, and just played the game?
You know, at first I had very high ambitions on like what I was gonna do in tennis, what I was gonna do in the team, but um, I don't know. As I had a hard time balancing that and academics and
Mm.
a social life, such that like I really like tennis, but I probably shouldn't pursue it single-mindedly to get a higher spot on a high school team when I should be a more well-rounded person.
Yeah.
That doesn't
So
make me sound very passionate about it, but I was. I love playing.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it changed it. I do hear what you're saying, and I do know what you're like referring to when you say like doesn't make you sound that way. But it is kind of like I find it almost like more beautiful when somebody, realizes their placement and just does it in spite of that. Like, were you still trying to did you just like show up, play, enjoy the game itself, or were you constantly trying to like better your own game for what it was? Not like necessarily like compare yourself, but just be like, all right, I made this shot wrong. How could I improve?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of where the enjoyment actually comes from, right? Um, is that like the art of sort of bettering yourself and
Mm,
like that ladder towards improvement is very
yeah,
important for me to enjoying something.
I can see that. As we both have met, playing Magic, that's another one of those things where you just look at, the way you play and the way you better yourself. So I can see that being transferable in that way.
Yeah, but those two things are quite similar mentally, I
Yeah.
think.
You're playing against one person, you make
You're,
decisions.
yeah,
Uh,
sometimes
sadly
they
for
blow up in your face.
sometimes
Yeah.
blow up in your face. Sadly, there's not variance in tennis. That would be kind of cool if the ball would just like
Just
suddenly bounce the
erratically.
opposite way because it felt like it. It's like, how about this way? And you're just like, shit. What
Yeah.
would you say? So it sounds like when you were in high school, your dream involvement in tennis would be like being the best player in your team. Is that about
Yeah,
right?
I would say so. I would say that like I would have been that would have been like the extent of my involvement.
What about now? What are your tennis ambitions now? Like, is it just bettering your game, playing more frequently, maybe like attending a small tournament and like doing
Oh, like
well?
right now it's just playing.
Yeah.
I recently moved to a new city. I moved to Chicago 2 months ago.
Congratulations.
Um,
And
and
this
I
was
haven't really found
from
anyone to play with yet. I haven't
no.
really found the time to hit the courts.
Jeez,
Although
what's
I
the court
should.
ever do to you? Where did you move? Where were you living before Chicago?
Madison,
Oh,
Wisconsin.
nice.
Yeah,
And
I
that
worked
was
there.
was
Yeah, that.
there like prevalent tennis there? Was there a club? Like how
Yeah,
was the scene there?
I had a couple friends that I would play with regularly
Hmm.
who were like around my skill level, so it was really nice. But I don't have that here. So the main goal was to just find a group of
Sweet.
people that I like playing tennis with. So
So you hear that? Any of you listeners out there who know a good place to play tennis or play tennis yourself in the Chicago area, just hit up Theo Young.
oh,
Joe.
please do.
If there was someone that you could either play doubles with or play against in tennis, who would you want to play? If there are two different answers, please, by all means.
Yeah. Play doubles with. I know. I would say it's a very like stereotypical tennis player answer, but it would be Roger Federer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Grew up watching the
Just to
guy.
get the easy carry. Just
Yeah,
stand in the back court and just like
exactly. Just
whatever.
do nothing, and he'll just take care of it all for me. Yeah, but I grew up watching his matches, watching him play, and
Oh, that guy's good.
yeah,
One of my favorite matches, it's not matches, I guess it's more of a tennis moment, is watching Federer do that thing with the crowd where he's just like getting them loud, getting them quiet, getting them loud, getting them
yeah,
quiet in the game, and his opponent is just dead. He hasn't even served the ball yet, and his opponent's just he's so fucking dead. It's like, I own the crowd. How do you think you're gonna do? It's like there's no way that you're winning this game, homie. It's over.
exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You're dead. You can concede whatever you want. Sign the slip. It's okay. It's so busted. What would you say is the biggest misconception or misconceptions? Because I feel like not enough people play tennis anymore by the wider world.
Yeah. I guess one of the biggest misconception is that like you need to try to hit the ball really hard, and the hardest ball hitters are always the winners.
Yeah.
Generating power in tennis involves you being like loose and not tight, right? So
Okay.
like like your upper body has to be loose. Like the idea, like the recommended strength of your trick grip on your tennis racket. A lot of coaches say should be like about a 3 out of 10. Like if 10 is your
Wow.
maximum like grip strength, then your tennis grip should be about a 3. So
Jeez.
like, yeah,
So you're just kind of holding on to it. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, it's here.
and this was me too. When I first started learning tennis, I like gripped the racket really hard and tried to like send everything that I had towards the ball, and that didn't really work out. I unlearned that very quickly. But yeah.
What was some of the early, like what were some of your favorite or funniest early like tennis lessons? Like or like learning moments? Other than like, oh shit, I'm holding this absurdly tight.
Uh, like by funniest moments, you mean like things that I did that like kind of blew up in my face?
Yes, please.
Tried to hit a one-handed backhand for a while. That didn't go very well.
Is that just always a two-handed move?
No, no, no. A lot of players actually do have one-handed backhands, but um, I wasn't particularly cut out for hitting one, so I would just like try and hit one, and I'd like whiff the ball or like send it to the back of the fence because I thought it looked cool, right? Like a
Yeah.
one-handed backhand is very aesthetically pleasing. Like you see, like Roger Federer has one. Marinka has a pretty one-handed backhand. So yeah, trying
Uh,
to emulate what you see on
of course.
the TV from your favorite
How can you
players
not?
just
That's
doesn't
got to be
work.
one of the
Doesn't always
ones
work
that,
out.
yeah, that's got to be one of the ones also for the best and worst reasons where it's like it feels like the most achievable, but like probably isn't because it seems so much of tennis. Well, beautiful game, love it. It does seem relatively easy. You know, you're holding a racket, you do this thing. You know, it's like it seems so point A to point B, but obviously it's not that, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of like form related stuff and a lot of a lot of finer details to it
Yeah.
that
But
are
it's not like football where it's like, oh yeah, I could totally jump over that lineman. Like very few people at home think they can do that
yeah.
because it's just like, yeah, I'm not like look, that's absurd. But like tennis, wow, it is kind of like a like it's a sneaky little devil. You're like, oh yeah, I can totally backhand that perfectly, or I can do the like the Roger Federer between the legs
Between the
like no
legs,
look
yeah.
shot. Yeah,
It's
yeah, I got
because they
this.
make it look so easy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just so graceful. There's like, woo. What's the let's allow you to redeem yourself in the eyes of our audience. What's the like coolest thing you've done while playing tennis? What's the best move you've pulled off?
Oh, between the leg shot.
You've done it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
you,
like
and you got
straight
it,
like a bullet, but like a lob. So
you,
like,
but you got it over the you
yeah,
got
I
it over
got
the
it.
net.
Got it
Oh,
over the guy.
oh, was it? Did you also like score? Like, do you get point on that one?
Yeah, it was sick.
Oh, like, but I mean, like, if you get it through the legs and it goes over, it's already like, okay. So I feel like this starts on a scale, right? We're going 1 through 4 because we're playing tennis. We're not going on fives and
We're not,
tens.
yeah, no
That's
10-point
for
scales
suckers.
here, just sevens.
So one is doing it without catching yourself, because if you catch yourself, it doesn't matter if it goes over. You're losing. Like the man goes down. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Then there's getting it over the net,
Mhm.
and then there's like playing it. But then like the last one, the coup de grace, has to be getting it over and just having it be the like them not like catching like getting up to the ball and it just like that being good
Yeah,
enough.
hitting a winner between your legs.
Hitting a winner between your legs is like cracked. That is Lord have
It was
mercy.
during like a casual
Yeah,
match.
just
So,
casual game.
yeah.
But
But
suddenly it felt
good.
like Wimbledon. You're just like,
Yeah.
boom, got it. What'd it do? Just drop the racket like a mic. It's
Yeah, it
over,
felt like a
baby.
baller, dude.
That's so awesome. If you were gonna go watch a match, which stadium would you want to go to?
I I think Wimbledon. That's
Wimbledon.
Yeah, it's the most like unique, right? Because like that's one of the only major tournaments that are played only on grass.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there are like 4 Grand Slams. 2 are on hard courts. That's the U.S. Open and Australian Open. The French Open is on clay, and Wimbledon is on grass.
Okay.
But there's a lot of other smaller tournaments that are played on clay, but grass is like really the unique surface.
It's like only Wimbledon.
There are like a couple other tournaments, but not very many that are played on
Yeah.
grass. But yeah, Wimbledon is like the one huge grass tournament, and it's like the oldest out of all the four Grand Slams. So
That's awesome.
yeah, definitely
So
a bucket list item
yeah,
to go see Wimbledon live before I die.
that'd be dope. I have to imagine this costs so much. It's how
Oh,
long is the tournament? The tournament's like days, right?
yeah, it's like Wimbledon actually takes like 2 weeks, I think. Or
Sheesh.
any Grand Slam takes a while to from start to finish.
Yeah. How many match like how many I'm trying to use the correct terminology here and coming and failing. It's like sets, but that's not right. Like how many individual matches is a player playing in a day of Wimbledon?
Well, it depends if you're winning or not.
All right,
If,
let's say you're crushing. How many are you playing?
well, to win Wimbledon, you would have to play 8 5-set matches or best of 5-set matches
Mm-hmm.
over that time frame.
And that's the least you could play is just eight.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. So there's wait, uh, oh, it's more like 7 because there's like 128 people. But sometimes like higher seeded players get like a round one bye. So
Just which has to be just busted.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I just don't have to play the first round. That's correct. In movies and TV, how is tennis shown correctly, and how is it shown incorrectly?
I guess it's pretty true to form. Like unless it's like some weird like fictional thing.
Oh, it's actually like that's one of the few sports that Hollywood seems to get right.
Yeah. Or it's one of the sports that Hollywood doesn't really feature.
Do you have a favorite TV show or more likely movie, I guess, that showcases tennis?
Yeah, there's like I guess it doesn't really count because it's very tennis related. There's a new Netflix series called Breakpoint where they follow the professional tennis players on tour, and then
That's
it's like
sweet.
a documentary. It's like a docu-series about their lives and
Yeah,
their tournaments.
it's like the Formula One tennis equivalent of like was it Drive to Survive or whatever.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite non-obvious aspect of tennis?
Hmm. I would say that about how like athletically strenuous it is.
Mm.
Like it's a lot of like sprinting and like stopping and going. Like
You're just doing like infinite suicides.
yeah, you're just doing a lot of suicides, and people don't really seem to realize that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you're doing like geometry on top of that.
mhm.
You're like, all right, well, they hit it at this angle, so I need to be over here
Yeah,
now.
yeah. And one of the great things that I find about tennis is that like one player has to be responsible for all parts of their game, whereas I think that's one of the major uh, great things and one of the failings of tennis is that one player has to do everything. And in fact, it's really compelling because when you see a really great player, you know they've mastered like all aspects of their game.
Yeah.
Like this player can serve well, hit their ground strokes well, and defend well. But but like the downside of that is that there isn't a lot of diversity when it comes to body types in tennis at the top
Mm.
levels.
Yeah.
Like
You
the
don't
most
get some like
successful
porky guy out
players,
there with a gut. Just
yeah, not quite. There's a lot of like the most successful players in history tend to be like men that are like between the range of 6 foot and 6'3".
Mm.
You know, those have historically been the greatest players of all time because that is like sort of a perfect physique
Yeah.
for tennis. Like you're tall enough to have a decent serve, but you're not too tall that mobility becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it really like the top of tennis really selects for these very balanced body types, so it's like pretty homogenous. There are some exceptions. Like there's a player called John Isner who is like 6'11", and basically his whole
Jesus Christ.
shtick is he hits like a pretty unreturnable serve. Um,
Just takes the Randy Johnson approach to pitching of just being a fucking giant.
yeah.
Being like, catch
Yeah.
this.
I was about to mention baseball because it's the exact opposite. It's a sport where like because there are so many divisions in like roles. Like there's one player responsible for like being a first baseman. There are a couple outfielders, and there are players who only hit
Mm-hmm.
but like not run. It allows for a very diverse range of people to play professional baseball, right?
Yeah.
Like when you think of baseball player, not one like
Yeah.
homogenous like body type comes to your head. It's like a bunch of different types
you're
of
not
people
you're not
who
going to
can be
tell a kid
successful.
you're not going to tell a kid that he can't play baseball. Like there's
No.
almost no body type. You know, I guess if like they were like paralyzed and like were in a wheelchair, you'd be like, I'm sorry, Timmy, like God hates you. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe
like,
baseball ain't happening for them,
Yeah. But I mean, like they don't even have to be able to run, like you said. Like if they can hit a ball, like if you had a kid who could, I love how we've changed to baseball now. If you had a kid who could hit like bat at like 400 and couldn't run, he would be a Hall of Famer.
Exactly, yeah.
He would
Like
just
there are people who just
destroy.
hit and can't run. They're like these like big ass dudes who just like sail the ball to the stands every time they can hit it, but they have like a slower like
They just have this like leisurely walk around the
yeah,
bases.
they have like a slower like 500 meter than like you or I do probably.
Yeah. Have you? So earlier you were noting that you're after moving to Chicago, you're having difficulty finding a place to play and people to play with. Have you thought about, because there are a lot of games that might not be as awesome, and they are quite different than tennis, but they have a lot of the same kind of fundamentals, I would guess, like racquetball, like pickleball. Do any of those potentially hold interest for you?
My lack of like tennis playing right now is for lack of like trying, not for lack of trying and failing, I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, time to atomic up that habit, my friend.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, to move from the lovely to the lackluster, Theo, what is your preposterous peeve?
All right, I've been waiting for this. My preposterous peeve. It's pretty preposterous. It's when people eat a whole pickle in front of me. Not like pickle slices, not pickles on a sandwich, but like a whole ass pickle just in front of me.
Just chomping.
Yeah. It makes no sense because I don't even hate pickles that much. Like I eat pickled red onions or like other types of pickles. Like I don't really enjoy cucumber pickles that much, but I'll eat like or carrot daikon pickles on like a banh mi. You ever have one of those?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah. But cucumber pickles not a huge fan, but but just when someone eats a whole pickle in front of me, it just kind of grosses me out.
All right. I'm going to give you a couple other phallic and potentially green objects that people have been known to eat.
All
You
right.
let me know if any of these also tick the box. Banana,
No.
cucumber,
Nope.
jalapeno.
Nope.
All right, the doctor's out. I got nothing.
Listen, it's just pickles. It doesn't have to do with the fact they're like shaped like a dick or whatever. It's like
Hey, I had to check. I tried green. I tried dicks. I
I
just
think
wanted to
it's
make
the
sure.
smell and like
Interesting.
and
Does
like
so is it matter if it's dill versus, because there are a shocking amount of different kinds of pickles. Is it just dill pickles? Is it
I think it's mostly like dill cucumber pickles.
Interesting. So when did you first notice this? Was
Well,
it
let me
something that
tell
happened?
you,
Oh,
I was in my teens and I was on a plane, and some person just whipped out one of those like those pickle snack packs where it's just like a whole pickle, like just in like some
Yeah,
There's
it's
some
like
packaging.
it's like in the juices, right?
Yeah. It's in the juices, and they just pull that out during a flight and start eating it, and I'm like, oh, this is so gross. So I go to the airplane bathroom and just like stay in there for half an hour because I didn't want to smell or see that person eat the pickle, and that's when I found out that I'm really grossed out by that.
Just I'm imagining people just like you're like
It's like, no,
preoccupied. It's
no,
like
because I didn't want to smell it either. I don't want to
yeah,
want like smelly pickle residue like on my
residue.
flight.
Oh my
And it's such like a stupid peeve because I don't even hate pickles that
And it
much.
truly
Like
is preposterous, and I
it's just when
love it.
people eat a whole one like they're eating a banana.
What if they chopped it in half and saved half of it for later?
Oh, because you're still eating like the whole.
Oh my gosh. Has this ever, other than being locked in a locking yourself in a air an airplane bathroom, which is just the most fun, has this ever caused other like public problems? Like if
Yeah,
you had to like if you've been on a date and been like, it's been real and just like like been halfway through, like the
yeah.
person been interested and had to bail?
That exact thing actually did happen to me
No.
when I moved to Madison. And
No.
during the start, I went on a couple dates, and one of the dates, it was going pretty well, you know. And when we ordered our food, she asked for like a pickle on the side. It came with like
And
a
immediately,
yeah, and then
God, not like this.
she started like eating the pickle with her sandwich, and I'm just like any attraction that I had to her whatsoever before that incident, like just kind of disappeared.
Just immediately
And
check, please.
it's just so stupid and irrational, but like it that's why it's a pet peeve, right?
Yeah.
It's
No, man,
just
this might be the most perfect peeve to ever have been on the show. That's like, dude, this is literally like, it's over. The record has been set. Like, all
it's
people can do is match. Like,
yeah,
there can be no better. Dude, like, the fact that you realize how irrational it is, and still you're just like, I fucking can't. Like, on a date with a lovely woman, and you're just like, it's dead. I don't know what to tell you,
I
lady.
don't know.
We're going Dutch, and I'm never seeing you again. Have a nice day. It's like,
I was out.
oh my god! And just like that, we're gonna have to be out of this segment because nothing can top it.
Like I was nice. I wasn't like,
Oh no,
oh, you're eating a pickle. I immediately have to bail.
yeah,
You
just
know,
like
you
sets
take you,
cash on the table.
yeah, you take those feelings and you like push them deep inside.
Yeah,
Don't let them out until after the whole thing's over.
yeah,
But
you just let it
yeah,
play out, just like thinking about anything else.
yeah,
Nuns, basketball, your grandma, and then you know you go home
yeah.
and you just pour one out. You just pour one out for the love that got away. Oh man. And with that, we're gonna head to our second ad break, but don't go anywhere because when we get back, Theo is gonna enter the lightning round. Have you ran out of new stuff to do, rendering your life wholly unsatisfying? Do you have too much time on hand and have no idea what to do with it? Or are you just plain over this existence and wish for a plane with more intrigue? Might I introduce you to Addiction? Addiction deals with all these problems and more. Had to meet your significant other's parents and would rather not? Addiction. Had to go to work for the third day in a row? Addiction. Rent? Why not? Addiction. Addiction cannot be held responsible for your choice of choosing to imbibe in addiction. Any and all life-destroying fallout as a result of addiction cannot be legally pinned on addiction. But you're more than welcome to try. And we're back. Theo, are you ready to enter lightning round?
The lightning round.
Sure am.
All right, buckle your seatbelts and keep your arms inside the ride at all times. Theo, is there a price for you to give up your passion forever?
A price like money.
Yes, sir.
Um, Probably 500K.
Respectable. Would you rather make the food or do the dishes?
Make the food.
Did you ever cheat on a test in school?
Yes.
Would you rather have your inner monologue sound like Gilbert Gottfried or Fran Drescher?
I don't know who either of those people are. I'm too young, man.
I thought you were too young, man. Pineapple and pizza or fist fight?
Fist fight. There's a chance I might enjoy the fist fight. So.
You're having the best day of your life. What happens next? Another amazing thing or something terrible?
Oh, probably something terrible.
Is professional wrestling cool or lame?
I think it's cool.
Are soups smoothies?
No.
Do you create your own thoughts or do you just listen to them?
I create them.
Album, shuffle, or playlist?
Playlist.
Is there such a thing as a perfect piece of art?
No.
Have you ever had a crush on a cartoon character?
Yes.
Are you out of touch, or is it the children who are wrong?
I don't think I'm really out of touch. But children are often wrong, so...
I was really hoping you're just going to leave it as I'm not out of touch. What is more important, freedom or structure?
Structure. I know that's a hot take, but...
Communicate only in emojis or never text again?
Never text again. If I had to communicate only in emojis, I would just rather not text at all.
Would you rather have tentacle arms or kangaroo legs?
Kangaroo legs.
Would you rather be a human in a world of Muppets or a Muppet in a world of humans?
Oh, a human in a world of Muppets.
Would you rather meet an extraterrestrial or a ghost?
I think an extraterrestrial.
Are hot dogs tacos?
No.
Would you go to a music festival on the moon?
Yeah, for sure. That sounds fun.
Is In-N-Out overrated?
Yes, but I like it In-N-Out a lot.
Skydiving or deep sea diving?
Skydiving.
Would you rather be stranded in the desert or at sea?
Probably in the desert.
Subbed or dubbed?
Like, are we talking anime or...
Mayhaps.
Alright, I'm gonna go with sub then.
Would you like to receive $100 million if you knew you were going to die in 30 days?
No.
Did Jesus have a temper?
Probably not.
Could you eat 37 of your favorite food for $5,000 in a 1 hour time limit?
Yes.
Well, congratulations! You've survived the lightning round!
Wow.
Wow! Now, before we move on, I like many listeners at home would like to now know, what is your favorite food that you could eat 37 of in a 1 hour time limit for $5,000?
Oh, sushi, for sure.
All right, so are we talking sushi rolls or sushi pieces with 37?
I mean, if you're gonna give me that much money to eat 37 of them, doesn't matter. I'll eat 37 rolls in an hour.
Sheesh! All right. Folks, we just need to get together $4,999 because I'll throw in the last one to get this done. But until then, now, as a reward, my gallant guest, I grant thee a lightning round question. What shall it be?
All right. So, at the end of your life, if you could see a highlight reel of all the times you've almost died, would you do it? Yes or no?
Hell yes. I want to see all my dumbest moments. Play the Darwin Award super real. Let's go.
Yeah, that sounds fun, right? Imagine seeing all the times where you could have been hit by a car or something falls on you.
Look at all the times you rolled like a 20 on dodge.
Yeah.
Just running perfect. That would help you appreciate the fact that you got to live that long, right?
I think so. I think I would accept death with a lot of gratitude if I could see all the times where my life was almost cut short.
All right, my friend, as we come to a close here, anything you want to plug, shout-outs you'd like to give, places people can find you or your content?
Yeah, so I have a Twitter. It's at where'd my jewel go. Yeah. I mostly post like magic content on there, and that's mostly what I use Twitter for. But yeah, um, nothing else really to plug. I don't really make any content or
But he is looking for
anyone.
friends to play tennis with in Chicago.
I am looking for friends to play tennis with in Chicago. So if you or someone you know plays tennis in Chicago, let me know. Uh, Beth, DM me on my Twitter, please.
But only if they're like a 4.0 or a 3.5 or a 4.5. Got to keep it
Oh,
tight.
ooh, I could keep it loose, you know, in either scale. As long as they're like a cool person who likes to play tennis, I would play tennis with them. So,
All right. Only
yeah.
cool tennis peoples may apply. Thanks, Brett.
All right. It was a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Theo, for being my guest today, and a special thanks to my editor, Richard Ashford, and my composer, Joshua Gibbons. And thank you. Yeah, you, listening at home or wherever you found time to appreciate this. Time is the most precious commodity we have, and I appreciate you spending yours with us. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, or just share it with a friend. Every little bit helps. Or if you already have and are out of episodes to listen to, don't worry. We put out a new episode every Monday at midnight on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes at Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves podcast. And a very special thanks are due to our patrons, Sibeli Yellow. And if you'd like to join such illustrious ranks and have your name read aloud, just head on over to patreon.com/Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves podcast. And remember, folks, if days are numbered and songs are sung, at the end of the day, I think we've all won. So please stick around, because great things have only just begun.